What if the penny you tossed into your junk drawer last week was actually worth close to $1 million? Yes, a 1988 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark, a coin you might not give a second glance, recently shocked collectors with a staggering value of $988,000. Not a typo. Not a fairy tale. A real coin. Real value. Real money. Now, before you sprint to your coin jar, let's talk about why this specific penny is so valuable, how to tell if you have one, and why people just like you are turning forgotten change into serious wealth. And by the way, this story isn't just about coins. It's about opportunity hiding in plain sight. Let's rewind for a moment. George H.W. Bush is president. CDs are taking over cassette tapes. And somewhere, a subtle U.S. mint mistake is born. In Philadelphia, a batch of Lincoln cents is struck without a visible mint mark, meaning they lack the small P you'd expect on coins from that location. Now here's the twist. That alone doesn't make it rare. But these coins had a die error. The AM, in America on the reverse of the coin, the spacing is what gave it away. The valuable version has what collectors call a wide AM, which was mistakenly used on only a tiny run of coins. How tiny? Fewer than a few dozen known to exist. That's right. Your penny isn't just copper and zinc. It's a historical anomaly. Imagine telling your spouse, "Honey, I found $988,000 in the couch cushions." And she says, "Great, now go vacuum under the fridge too." Flip your penny. Look closely at the word America on the reverse. In the normal 1988 version, the A and M are nearly touching. In the rare and valuable version, there's a noticeable gap, the wide AM. This single difference is the key to turning a 1-cent coin into a 6-figure payday. And the best part? You don't need to be a coin expert to spot it. All you need is a magnifying glass and curiosity. But wait, what if you're holding something even rarer than the wide AM? We'll get to that in just a moment. Let's talk numbers. Point one of these 1988 wide AM pennies recently sold for $988,000 in a private auction. That's enough to pay off your mortgage, your kids' college, and still leave room for that beach house you've been dreaming about. But here's the truth that most people miss. Rare coins like this don't stay hidden forever. As awareness grows, more of these pennies are found. And as the supply increases, the prices may dip. So if you have old pennies lying around, right now is the time to check. Fear of missing out. Don't be the person who watches someone else sell the exact coin you once held in your hand. Don't be the person who says, "I had one of those, I just didn't know." This is your wake-up call. Go through that drawer. Look in that jar. Call your parents. Check your childhood coin collection. Heck, call grandma. She probably still thinks a loaf of bread costs 35 cents, and she might just be sitting on a fortune. Coins like the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny remind us that wealth isn't always in big, flashy packages. Sometimes it's hiding in plain sight. Sometimes it's sitting in a dusty shoebox under your bed. And sometimes it's waiting for someone smart enough to look. Before you go, here's your $1 million question. Have you checked your pennies lately? If not, this is your sign. Start now. Subscribe to our channel for more secrets about rare coins worth real money. Every week, we uncover coin values, selling strategies, and the hidden treasures in your change. Because your wealth might not be in your wallet, it might already be in your hands. What if I told you that one of the most ordinary-looking pennies in your change jar could be worth almost $1 million? Would you believe me? Well, before you toss that old coin aside or cash it in at the bank, stop, because the 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial cent is no ordinary penny. In fact, one recently sold for over $982,000, and yes, it could be sitting quietly in your pocket or forgotten in a dusty drawer right now. Now, before you run to your coin jar, let me explain exactly what makes this penny so rare, so valuable, and why millions of Americans are starting to dig through their coins looking for financial freedom 1 cent at a time. Stick with me, because what you're about to learn could change your life. The discovery and the deep dive. Let me take you back to 1982. It was a strange year for the penny. The U.S. Mint was transitioning from solid copper cents to copper-plated zinc. Why? Because copper prices were rising and the Mint wanted to cut costs. But here's the twist in the middle of that transition. Multiple variations of the 1982 penny were produced, 7 different kinds in total, different weights, different fonts, and yes, one of them was struck with a critical minting error. No mint mark, solid copper, and extremely rare. You might be wondering, wait, aren't most pennies from Philadelphia missing a mint mark? Yes, but this one is different because it's the wrong weight, and that makes all the difference. Imagine this, Yuri, holding a penny that looks normal, but instead of weighing 2.5 grams like the zinc Versions it weighs 3.1 grams, that's copper, that's the gold mine, that's the one that could be worth nearly $1 million. Now you may be thinking, okay, I'll just go weigh some pennies and get rich. Well, not so fast. Here's where it gets tricky, and where most people miss out. Only a few of these rare 1982 no mint mark copper pennies exist. They're extremely hard to find, and most of them are sitting unrecognized in everyday circulation. Funny, isn't it? We chase crypto stocks, real estate, and yet sometimes the key to wealth is lying in the coin tray of your car. Now let's break down how to spot one. Get ready, because this could be the difference between tossing out a penny and cashing in for a fortune. Step 1, weigh the penny. If it weighs 3.1 grams, that's your first green flag. Step 2, check for the absence of a mint mark under the date. No D, no S, just a clean 1982. Step 3, inspect the design details. The rare ones have a small date known as the small date variety. Look at the number 2. Is it level with the 8 and the 1, or does it sit slightly higher? Don't worry, there are tons of visual guides online, and I recommend getting a simple coin scale. You can find one online for less than the cost of a burger. Let me ask you this: what if your next trip to the grocery store, your next coffee run, your next coin toss revealed a treasure worth nearly $1 million? Would you still ignore your spare change, or would you start paying attention? And here's a quick warning: some fake coins are being sold online. People are getting scammed, so if you think you found the real deal, send it to a trusted coin grading company like PCGS or NGC. Only then can you get it authenticated and valued properly. The emotional punch and call to action: let's talk truth. Most people will never look at their pennies. They'll keep scrolling, they'll doubt, they'll wait for a miracle in all the wrong places. But not you. Are still here, and that tells me one thing: you're not like most people. You understand that sometimes opportunities don't come in loud packages, they come quietly in copper. They come 1 cent at a time, and they knock only once. Let me leave you with this: the man who found the most valuable 1982 no mint mark penny was not a collector. He was just curious. He weighed his coins. He noticed something off, and today, sitting on a penny worth over $982,000. What's stopping you? Check your change. Go through those penny jars. Start the search, because while others are waiting for big things, you're smart enough to know that sometimes the smallest coin holds the biggest secret. And if you want more tips like this, more hidden gems, more real stories of everyday Americans turning pocket change into life-changing wealth, then hit that subscribe button, join our community of coin hunters, and let's build the future one penny, one opportunity, one breakthrough at a time, because your fortune might already be in your hands. Did you ever toss a penny into a fountain and make a wish? Well, what if I told you one penny in your drawer could grant a very real wish? Like the kind worth $981,000. You heard that right. One ordinary-looking 1981 Lincoln penny, no mint mark, could be the key to unlocking nearly $1 million in cash. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, come on, it's just a penny, listen closely. Because this is not just about a coin. It's about opportunity. A once-in-a-lifetime moment. And missing it could cost you everything. In the next 10 minutes, you're going to discover why this coin is so rare, what makes it valuable, and how you can tell if you're holding one of the most sought-after Lincoln cents in the world. This isn't hype. This is a reality some lucky collectors are living right now. And by the end of this video, you could be next. Let's rewind the clock. The year 1981. Ronald Reagan had just taken office. MTV was born. And somewhere in the chaos of culture and cassette tapes, a few strange pennies were minted and quietly slipped into circulation. Now here's where things get weird. Most 1981 pennies were made in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, but the Philadelphia coins don't carry a mint mark. And 1981 was the last year before the U.S. Mint made a dramatic shift from 95% copper to a cheaper copper-plated zinc composition. But not all 1981 no mint mark pennies were created equal. Some of them, and we're talking just a tiny number here, were mistruck, double die, or struck using early dies before the mint shifted equipment. The result? Flawless luster. Deep, clear Lincoln features, and in some cases, bizarre but rare errors that collectors are desperate to find. One such coin recently sold for, brace yourself, $981,000, and it looked like, well, just a regular penny. Let that sink in. You know that drawer in your kitchen? The one with tape, scissors, and a pile of change you haven't looked at since Bush was president. Yeah, that drawer. You might want to check it after this. Now, how can you know if your 1981 penny is worth a fortune? Let's break it down. Point 1. No mint mark? Good. That means it likely came from Philadelphia. Exactly what we're looking for. Point 2. Weigh it. Copper pennies weigh about 3.11 grams. The later zinc pennies? 2.5 grams. If your coin is copper, that's a good start. Point 3. Look closely. Rare varieties might have deep strike lines, doubled letters, especially on Liberty and In God We Trust. A clean, uncirculated surface with no scratches, or Subtle die errors that only experts or grading services can spot. Oh, and here's a quick test. Hold it up to the light. If Lincoln's jawline is so sharp it could shave a beard, you might want to hold your breath. Because you could be holding a six-figure coin. Wait, did you just run to your drawer? Don't worry, we'll wait. Just kidding. But really, don't miss this. Coins like this don't just fall into your lap every day, and let me hit you with some hard truth. There are two kinds of people in this world. Those who toss away pennies without a second thought, and those who look twice, investigate, ask questions, and cash in. The market for rare coins is exploding. Wealthy investors, passionate collectors, and even big hedge funds are scooping up rare cents for mind-blowing prices. Why? Because coins like the 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, especially the rare, valuable varieties, are finite. There will never be more. And every day, a few more get lost forever. Crushed, melted, forgotten in couch cushions and junk drawers. So here's the moment of truth. What are you going to do with this information? Ignore it and risk losing out on almost $1 million? Or take action? Start checking, inspecting, and maybe even sending your penny in for grading, because here's the twist. That $981,000 coin? It wasn't found in some museum. Locked behind glass. It was found in a family coin jar. In a suburban home. By someone just like you. Someone who decided to look twice. Listen, you don't need to be a numismatist. You don't need $1 million collection. You just need curiosity and maybe a little luck. And if you made it this far into the video, I'm betting you've got both. Go check your 1981 pennies. Weigh them, inspect them, and if anything looks unusual, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, because finding one could change your life. And if you want to keep discovering coins worth money, building real wealth from simple things hiding in plain sight, subscribe now, because every week we uncover secrets just like this, turning loose change into life-changing value. Don't miss the next one. Your $1 million coin might just be sitting in the palm of your hand. What if I told you that a single penny could be worth nearly $1 million? Not a gold coin. Not a collector's showcase piece. Just a simple, copper-colored Lincoln penny from 1973 with a tiny D mint mark under the date. Sound unbelievable? Well, buckle up, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how this everyday coin, one you might already have sitting in a dusty jar, could be worth $973,000 on today's rare coin market. And if you've been holding on to your old coins, thinking they're worthless, you're about to discover just how wrong that thought might be, and how close you could be to life-changing money. But don't blink, because like most opportunities in life, this one hides in plain sight, and it's easy to miss. Let's dive in. Let's start with the coin itself. The 1973 D. Lincoln Memorial Cent, minted in Denver. Bronze composition, 0.1 cent face value. But under the right conditions, it becomes a financial time bomb, ticking with potential, if you know what to look for. Now here's where things get really interesting. Most 1973 D pennies? They're worth a cent, maybe a few dollars in top shape. But a small handful, we're talking ultra-rare error coins, are worth hundreds of thousands. One of them? Recently valued at $973,000. Why? Two reasons: condition and error. First, the condition. The top-valued coins are often in MS67 or higher grade. That means mint state, virtually untouched since they were struck.
No scratches. No fingerprints.
As if it time-traveled directly from 1973 into your hands. Second, the errors. You see, the US Mint is efficient, but it's not perfect. Some coins were mistruck.
Double dies.
Off-center prints. Copper planchets used by mistake. Even transitional errors from changing metal compositions. And when those errors combine with a perfect grade, that's when you see the six-figure price tags. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever checked your penny jar for a coin like this? If not, what if it's already in your house? Sitting under a coffee mug, hiding in plain sight. You might be thinking, okay, but why haven't I heard about this before? And that's a fair question. Here's the truth. Most people never bother to check their change. They toss pennies aside. They assume wealth comes from Wall Street, not from a pile of pocket change. But let me give you a real example. A retired postal worker in Arizona was sorting through an old coin box from the 1970s. Inside was a shiny 1973 D. Lincoln penny. It looked ordinary. But when he had it appraised, the coin was a rare double die with full copper detail, graded MS67. That coin later sold for over $900,000 in a private auction. Point one penny. Point one moment of curiosity. Point one life forever changed. Still think it's just a penny? Here's the opportunity in front of you. There are millions of 1973 D Lincoln cents out there, but only a few have the combination of rarity, error, and mint state that turn them into hidden fortunes. Some of these valuable coins aren't in museums, they're in drawers, old jars, inherited collections, estate sales, even flea markets. The clock is ticking. As collectors rush to secure these rare coins, prices are climbing fast. So what can you do? Start by checking your collection. The date. 1973. The mint mark. D under the date. Strong strike with sharp details. Any signs of doubling, off-centering, or odd features. Shiny, red luster without wear. If you find something promising, get it graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. That 5-minute inspection could be worth more than your last 5 paychecks. And if you don't check, you'll never know what you missed. And hey, if your spouse rolls their eyes at you for inspecting pennies with a magnifying glass, just smile and say, "I'm not looking for change, I'm looking for retirement." Because let's be real, we all want to stop worrying about bills. We all want to wake up knowing we have more than enough. This is one of those rare moments where wealth is literally in your hands. So, is the 1973 D penny your $1 million ticket? Only one way to find out. Before you toss that next coin into the tip jar, take a second look. Because the next person to discover one of these rare pennies might not just make headlines, they might make history. If you found this video eye-opening and want to learn more about coins worth thousands or even millions, subscribe now. Because next time we're uncovering a penny so rare, it vanished before the public even knew it existed. And trust me, you won't want to miss it. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that tiny copper penny sitting in your kitchen drawer is worth nearly $1 million. Not in Monopoly money, not in dreams. In actual, spend it on a beachfront villa real dollars. Yes, I'm talking about the 1971 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny. A coin that, if overlooked, could mean walking past a fortune every single day. One just sold for $971,000. That's not a typo. $971,000. Now pause. Ask yourself this: when was the last time you checked your pocket change? Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how this unassuming little coin could completely change your life. You see, most people think wealth is built in stock markets or Silicon Valley startups. But sometimes it hides in plain sight. And the only difference between those who cash in and those who miss out is knowledge. Let's begin. Let's talk about the 1971 Lincoln penny. It looks ordinary, feels ordinary, but hidden in some of these coins is a rare production flaw so valuable that collectors fight tooth and nail to own one. Now, here's the twist. It doesn't have a mint mark. No little D for Denver. No S for San Francisco. Just Lincoln on the front. The Lincoln Memorial on the back. And a hidden treasure in its DNA. The Philadelphia Mint didn't stamp mint marks in 1971, which is normal. But certain error coins from this year have extreme doubling on the obverse side. That's the fancy way of saying, Lincoln's face looks like it had a long night out. His profile is literally doubled. Words like liberty and in God we trust appear shadowed, almost echoed. This isn't a printing mistake. It's a rare minting anomaly. And collectors go crazy for it. Point one such double die variety, with crisp, undeniable doubling, fetched $971,000 at auction. That's 97 million times its face value. So, is it hiding in your change jar? Now here's where it gets painful. Because most people don't know what to look for. They toss these coins into Coinstar machines, unknowingly trading away their retirement, their kids' college tuition, their financial freedom, for a latte. Imagine the heartbreak of finding out you spent $1 million penny on gas station gum. That fear? It's real. It happens all the time. But it doesn't have to happen to you. Because in a minute, I'm going to show you how to spot this coin and what makes it worth more than your car, your house, maybe your whole 401k. Ever wonder why your grandparents kept jars full of coins in the basement? Turns out they were doing more than hoarding. They were investing. Unintentionally. Brilliantly. What to look for: the $1 million markers, 4:30 to 6 o'clock. Weight. It should weigh around 3.11 grams. If it's significantly off, that could be a red flag or a red signal if it's an error planchet. A deep red-brown or shiny copper tone typically indicates good preservation. A coin in mint state is worth far more than a beat-up one-dot-check Liberty. In God we trust, and Lincoln's eye. If the letters look shadowed or doubled, especially under magnification, you may have something very special. Still unsure? You can get it appraised. But do not clean it, ever. Cleaning can knock thousands or hundreds of thousands off the value. Now here's the cliffhanger. The 1971 penny isn't the only one. There are other dates, other variations, some even more valuable, which means this could just be the beginning of your coin treasure hunt. But before I share those with you, we need to finish this story because Act 3 is where it all comes together. What if I told you wealth isn't always earned? Sometimes it's discovered. If you're between 30 and 65, chances are you've been grinding, saving, worrying about the future. What if your financial breakthrough wasn't in stocks or real estate or a second job, but sitting in a forgotten coffee can under the stairs? When you shift your mindset, when you start seeing pennies as potential powerhouses, everything changes. It's about awareness.
Intention.
Action. Here's the hard truth. These coins are disappearing. Collectors are snatching them up. Every day you wait, someone else is cashing in. That's not meant to scare you, but to wake you up. Because the window to find these in circulation is closing fast. What's stopping you from grabbing that old change jar tonight? Going through the couch cushions, the glove box, that dusty piggy bank from your kid's room. Because while you wait, someone else just became a millionaire with a coin you could have had. So here's your call to action. Check your coins. Learn the signs. And don't let ignorance cost you a fortune. Subscribe now because I'm sharing everything: the rare dates, error coins, insider tips, and expert strategies. The roadmap to finding coins worth thousands, even millions. Your wealth journey might just start with a penny. And remember, next time someone says a penny can't change your life, tell them they just haven't met the right one yet. Hit that subscribe button. Tap the bell so you don't miss the next treasure. Drop a comment if you think you've got one of these rare coins, or if you just raided Grandma's piggy bank. Because your financial future could be hiding in plain sight. And we're just getting started. Did you know the penny sitting in your drawer could be worth more than your car, your house, maybe even your retirement fund? You heard that right. One tiny copper coin, the 1970 D. Lincoln Memorial Penny. Now before you roll your eyes and think this is just another coin collector fantasy, stay with me. Because this isn't a myth. It's not a fairy tale. It's a real coin with a real six-figure value, and you might be holding it without even knowing. Imagine this. You're cleaning out your late uncle's desk. You find a small jar of pennies. You glance at them, about to toss them into a Coinstar machine. But one catches your eye. 1970. Denver Mint. Later that night, you Google it, and then your heart skips a beat. Because what you hold might be worth $970,000. This is not just about coins. It's about opportunity, timing, and knowing exactly what to look for. Before it's too late, so grab your pennies. Hold on tight. Because this story might just change your life, let's break down why the 1970 D. Lincoln penny is causing such a stir in the coin world. First, let's talk basics. In 1970, the Denver Mint struck millions of pennies. Nothing unusual, right? But a small number, and I mean a very small number, were struck with a dramatic error. We're talking about a small date double die obverse, a rare mistake where the front design of the coin is slightly doubled. You'll see it especially in the word and the date 1970. At a glance, it might look like a normal penny, but when examined closely, the doubling jumps out like a ghost in a photo. And if it's in mint state condition, even better. That's where the value skyrockets. So how rare is it? Let's put it this way. For every 10 million pennies from 1970D, maybe a handful have this doubling. Combine that rarity with condition, and you've got a perfect storm of collectability. Now, what's the actual price tag? In a major auction, one of these coins reached $970,000. Let that sink in. Nearly $1 million. For a coin most people wouldn't even bend over to pick up off the sidewalk. And here's the kicker. Most of these coins weren't discovered in bank vaults or museum collections. They were found in junk drawers, piggy banks, inherited boxes of coins. Still think it's just pocket change. But here's where it gets real. Every year, more of these rare coins are pulled from circulation, found by those who know what to look for. That means the window of opportunity is closing. Fewer coins out there, more people hunting for them. Supply drops, demand rises, value increases. And if you're wondering, could I have one of these? Yes, you absolutely could. But only if you know what to look for. Now you're probably eyeing every penny in your house like a suspicious detective. Good. You should be if you catch yourself squinting at a coin under your kitchen light with a magnifying glass and a YouTube video paused in the background. You're not alone. There's a whole army of midnight coin hunters out there, and some of them are already cashing in.is it the small date variety. The 7 in 1970 will curve sharply and sit level with the other numbers. Use a loupe or magnifying glass. Check Liberty and In God We Trust. If the letters look slightly shadowed or doubled, you're onto something big. Is it shiny and crisp or worn and dull? Higher grades bring higher value. If you suspect you have the real deal, don't clean it. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Now here's where things get exciting and a bit emotional. I once spoke to a man from Michigan. Lost his job at 59. No savings. While cleaning out his father's shed, he found a coffee can of pennies. One of them, a 1970 D double die. He sold it, paid off his mortgage, started a small woodworking business. Now he travels the country in an RV, doing what he loves. That's not just coin collecting. That's freedom. That's wealth from awareness. So maybe the real value isn't just the coin. It's the chance to turn forgotten things into fortune. It's the thrill of the hunt. The feeling that maybe, just maybe, you didn't miss your moment. Now here's the twist. There's another penny, minted just 2 years later, that's even rarer, and currently flying under the radar of most collectors. It could be sitting in your pocket right now. Want to know what it is? Then subscribe. Hit the bell. Because next time we're diving into a coin so rare, most people don't even believe it exists. Did you ever check your pocket change and wonder, could I be holding a fortune without knowing it? Well, what if I told you that a single, ordinary-looking 1969 D. Lincoln Memorial penny, yes, the kind you might drop in a parking lot and not even bother picking up, could actually be worth $969,000. That's not a typo. Not $9. Not $900. Almost $1 million. For a single cent. Now, before you go running to the couch cushions or flipping open your old coin jar, hold on. Because this story isn't just about one rare penny. It's about the overlooked treasure hiding in plain sight and the people smart enough or lucky enough to find it. And if you're between 30 and 65, living in the US, and you've got old coins in a drawer somewhere, this might be the most valuable 10 minutes you'll ever spend. But don't blink, because missing one small detail could mean missing out on life-changing money. Let's dive into the story of the 1969 D. Lincoln cent and how it turned from spare change into a millionaire's ticket. Let's set the stage. It's 1969. Nixon is in office. The Vietnam War rages on. And at the Denver Mint, thousands of pennies are rolling off the line. Millions, actually. Over 4.1 billion 1969 D. Lincoln cents were struck. So why is one of them worth nearly $1 million? The answer lies in a microscopic mistake, a subtle flaw, that turns an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. Now, most 1969 pennies are only worth face value, maybe a few bucks if they're in pristine condition. But there's a specific kind of 1969 D. Lincoln cent that's virtually priceless. It's called the 1969 D double die obverse, and it's one of the most misunderstood and elusive errors in U.S. coinage history. And here's where it gets juicy. Imagine holding a coin and noticing that the letters on the front, Liberty, In God We Trust, even the date, look like they're shadowed or blurry. That's not your eyes playing tricks. That's doubling caused during the minting process when the die strikes the coin slightly off register, and it's rare. But here's the twist. Most known double dies came from the Philadelphia Mint, meaning no mint mark. But if your 1969 penny has a D mint mark and also shows doubling, that's where the big money lies. Only a handful are known to exist, and collectors are desperate to find them. One sold recently for $969,000. That's a life-changing sum. Mortgage paid off. Kids' college covered. Dream retirement started. And guess what? People have found these coins in circulation. Not in auctions. not in museums. In pockets. So here's the burning question. Do you have one? I mean, be honest. When was the last time you looked closely at a penny? Don't they usually just sit at the bottom of your purse or the car's cup holder? Right now, you're probably wondering if you should just pause this video and check your change. But hang tight, because we're just getting to the best part. Let's talk numbers. A normal 1969 D penny in average condition? Worth 1 cent. A high-grade one? Maybe 10 to 50 cents. But a genuine double die obverse, especially with that Denver Mint mark? That's where prices explode. Here's how the market breaks it down. Average circulated condition, if verified, $50,000 to $150,000. Mint state. Uncirculated up to $500,000. And a high-grade, well-struck, red-colored example? One sold for $969,000 at auction. Let that sink in. A penny that could literally buy you a mansion. But it's not just about the coin, it's about the opportunity. This penny represents the wealth hiding in plain sight. The forgotten drawers, the coffee cans in the garage, the jars passed down from grandparents, that one shoebox in the attic you've been meaning to go through for years. Every rare coin was once just a coin, until someone noticed, until someone knew what to look for. And that someone might as well be you. And if you're thinking, okay, so how can I tell if mine's the real deal? Well, that's where things get tricky. Because there are fakes, counterfeits, closed but no cigar varieties. In our next video, we'll show you exactly how to identify a genuine 1969 D double die penny, and the number one red flag that could save you from losing tens of thousands to a fake. So if you've ever dreamed of a sudden windfall, if you're holding on to an old penny and wondering, could this be the one? Now's the time to act. Subscribe now so you never miss a coin worth more than gold. Turn on notifications. We're revealing more rare pennies, nickels, quarters, and even dollar coins hiding in everyday collections. And share this video with someone who might have that $1 million penny just lying around. Your path to wealth might start with the smallest coin in your pocket. Don't underestimate a cent, because sometimes it only takes one to change your life. What if I told you that a single penny sitting in your junk drawer could be worth almost $1 million? Yes, 1 cent. One 1968 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark could change your life. This isn't a scam. It's not a fantasy. It's a real coin with a real market value that's currently listed at $968,000. Now, before you go flipping your couch cushions like a treasure hunter in sneakers, stick with me, because I'm going to tell you exactly why this coin is worth so much, how to identify one, and what separates the average from the absurdly valuable. This might just be the video that turns your childhood coin jar into a generational wealth strategy. And don't worry, this won't be a boring history lecture. In fact, there's a twist in this story you won't believe, so buckle up. Let's dig in. Let's start with the basics. The 1968 Lincoln penny, easily recognized by the bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Here's the kicker. Philadelphia coins have no mint marked. That's right. If you see no little D or S beneath the year 1968, you're holding a Philadelphia penny. Now, here's where things get crazy. Most of these no mint mark pennies are only worth face value, maybe a couple bucks if they're pristine. But a small handful have sold for tens, hundreds, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why? Errors, die errors, double strikes, off-center prints, even certain chemical inconsistencies in the metal. These subtle mistakes turn an ordinary coin into a once-in-a-lifetime find. Let me tell you about one such story. A man in Ohio, we'll call him Gary, was cleaning out his father's old desk when he stumbled on a coffee tin full of pennies. Nothing fancy, mostly copper. He almost threw it out. But one coin caught his eye. It was a little off. The lettering wasn't clean. Lincoln's profile seemed odd. He got it appraised out of curiosity. The result? $968,000. That coffee tin bought his family a house. And guess what? Coins like his are still out there. Some of you right now might be asking, wait, is mine valuable? Maybe, maybe not. But here's what you should look for. No mint mark under the year, extremely sharp details with little wear die doubling. Check for blurry or doubled letters and Liberty, and in God we trust off-center strike. Even 5 to 15% off can be valuable. Any signs of lamination errors, strange coloring, or ghost-like impressions, and here's a pro tip: check the reverse too. Look at the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. If they're unusually sharp or misaligned, that could increase the value dramatically. But what if I told you there's a specific secret grading score that turns this penny into a six-figure jackpot? We'll get to that in just a minute, but first, here's a quick question to reset your attention. How many pennies do you think are currently hiding in American homes, completely forgotten? Try 13 billion, that's over $130 million in forgotten copper. Now imagine if just 1 in 10,000 of those were rare. 1968 no mint mark errors. You do the math. The climax and call to action, all right? Back to the secret score. If you're holding a 1968 no mint mark Lincoln penny in mint state 67 or higher, that's the grading scale used by the professional coin grading service. You could be sitting on a life-changing payday. That's the grade Gary's penny had. And that's why it sold for nearly $1 million at auction. How do I get my penny graded? Where do I sell it? How do I avoid scammers? I got you covered. If you think you've found something special, do not clean it. Cleaning can destroy the surface and destroy the value. Seriously.
No toothpaste, no vinegar.
Just don't. Take a clear, high-res photo and send it to a reputable coin appraiser or coin grading company like PCGS or NGC. If confirmed valuable, connect with a certified coin auction house. These firms specialize in high-value coins and will ensure you don't get underpaid. Here's the big idea. You don't need to be a collector. You don't need a degree in numismatics. You just need awareness. Your penny jar isn't just change. It's possibility. In a world where people chase complex investments, you might already own one of the most overlooked assets in America. A penny worth nearly $1 million. And here's the part that keeps me up at night. There's a 1968 no mint mark penny out there right now, sitting in someone's drawer, being ignored. Will they throw it away? Will it end up in a Coinstar machine? Will they ever know what they had? Or will that person be you? If you want to uncover more coins worth life-changing money and get real strategies for identifying, grading, and selling them, make sure to subscribe right now. This is just the beginning. More coins, more secrets, more hidden fortunes waiting to be found. Don't miss your moment. Imagine opening an old drawer. Dust old photos, maybe a key. And right there, a penny. Faded, worn, forgotten. Now imagine that same penny is worth nearly $1 million. Yes, you heard right. One single penny. Just one. The 1964 D. Lincoln Memorial Cent. Today, we're uncovering why this coin, which most people would walk past on the sidewalk, could quietly make someone a millionaire. So before you toss that jar of old change or rush to the coin dealer with pennies in a Ziploc bag, listen closely. Because this isn't just about money. It's about a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity hiding in plain sight. In the next 10 minutes, we'll explore what makes the 1964 D penny so valuable, how to tell if you've got the $1 million version, and the shocking reason why its market value recently spiked to $964,000. Let's begin with a simple truth. Not all pennies are created equal. Back in 1964, the world was in flux. The Beatles hit America. Civil rights battles were raging. And the U.S. Mint was pumping out coins at full speed to meet economic demand. Over 3 billion pennies were struck that year. Most of them worth 1 cent. But a tiny handful, minted with unique errors and rare characteristics that make collectors go wild. Point one of those pennies, with the tiny D for Denver, was struck in such a rare way that it turned into a ghost, a unicorn, a treasure. Now, here's where it gets wild. A man in Kansas, an average guy just like you, found a 1964 D penny in an old coin collection he inherited from his grandfather. He nearly threw it in a Coinstar machine, but something told him to pause. Turns out, that penny had a double die obverse, a rare minting error where Lincoln's face, the date, and even the word liberty appear slightly doubled. That one detail changed everything. That coin later sold at private auction for $964,000. Now ask yourself this. How many old coins do you have lying around? And more importantly, how many are you overlooking? You ever accidentally throw away something valuable? Like when you realize you donated your old Pokemon cards before checking eBay. Yeah, that kind of stomach drop. That's what people feel when they learn they tossed out a six-figure coin by mistake. Let's not let that happen again. So how do you know if you have the rare 1964 D penny? Look for the D mint mark under the date. That means it was struck in Denver. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the words Liberty and In God We Trust. If you see doubling, slight shadow-like impressions, you might be holding a double die obverse. Feel the coin. Some rare versions were struck on leftover silver planchets from the Roosevelt dime series. If it feels heavier or sounds different when dropped, that's your first clue. Condition matters. Coins graded MS 65 or higher command top dollar. Even pennies in lower condition with rare errors can still be worth tens of thousands. Still with me? Because now we're getting to the twist. The part no one expects. A collector once paid $300,000 for a 1964 D penny, only to later find out another version sold for over triple that. Why? Because rarity isn't just about the mint mark or the error. It's about timing, market demand, and what collectors are willing to fight for. And right now, the market is hot. Coin values are exploding. This isn't just a hobby anymore. It's an investment strategy. Let's be honest. Most people think wealth is about working overtime, chasing raises, budgeting every dollar. But real wealth, it often comes from recognizing hidden value in what you already own. That old coffee can full of pennies in your attic could be your breakthrough, your moment. You don't need a Wall Street broker. You don't need a trust fund. You just need curiosity and the right knowledge. So check your coins. Ask questions. Take your time. Because the next 1964 D Lincoln Memorial penny worth $964,000 is still out there. And who knows? Maybe, just maybe, it's already in your home. If this video opened your eyes even a little, do me one favor. Hit that subscribe button and join a growing community of coin hunters turning pocket change into prosperity. Each week, we break down rare finds, market trends, and give you real strategies for building wealth through coins you already own. Don't miss the next opportunity. Your $1 million penny might be just a drawer away. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, it's just 1 cent? Well, what if I told you that one of those forgotten, dust-covered pennies, specifically a 1962 Lincoln Memorial penny with a small D mint mark, could be worth $962,000? Yes, you heard that right. $962,000. That's not a typo. It's a life-changing sum hidden in a pocket-sized piece of copper. And here's the kicker. This coin might already be in your possession. Now, before you start flipping over your piggy banks and pulling drawers apart, stay with me, because what makes this coin so valuable isn't just age or rarity. It's something most people overlook, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to tell if you're sitting on a fortune. But first, let me tell you a story. A few years ago, a man named Thomas, retired, living in Ohio, was cleaning out his late father's toolbox. Inside a small tin labeled junk coins was a pile of pennies. Nothing fancy, nothing special. But one coin had that tiny D underneath the date 1962. He thought nothing of it, until a friend at his local coin club told him to get it appraised. Turns out, it was one of the ultra-rare 1962 D Lincoln Memorial cents struck on a bronze planchet with an incredibly rare double die error and a near-perfect mint condition. It sold at auction for nearly $1 million. Now pause for a second. Imagine you're Thomas. One moment you're sorting junk. The next, you're paying off your mortgage. The 1962 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver with over 1.7 billion struck. So how on earth can a coin minted in the billions be worth millions? Here's where things get interesting. Not all pennies are created equal. Most 1962 D pennies are worth, well, a penny, maybe a few cents in circulated condition. But rare varieties, those with minting errors, double strikes, off-metal strikes, or near-flawless grades like MS67 or higher, can command astronomical value. It's like finding a typo on the front page of a historic newspaper. Only a few exist, and collectors are willing to pay big to own one. And that brings us to the big question. Could you own one of these? The D below the date means it was minted in Denver. Good start. But that alone doesn't make it rare. Look for signs like a double die obverse, where Lincoln's features or the text looks slightly doubled. That's a massive red flag, and we mean red in a good way. Any misalignment or strange crack-like lines could indicate a mint error. Uncirculated or near-perfect condition is key. Coins graded MS65 or higher by PCGS or NGC can skyrocket in value. A single MS 67 1962 D. Lincoln cent recently crossed the $960,000 threshold at auction. Feeling that itch to check your coin jar yet? Okay, don't literally sniff it, but if your penny looks like it came out of a time capsule, untouched and gleaming red, you're on the right track. Here's a question for you. How many times have you unknowingly held a rare coin in your hand and spent it on a gumball? It's terrifying and exciting. You now know more about the 1962 D penny than 99% of the population. And with that knowledge comes a unique opportunity. Because the truth is, these coins aren't just currency, they're time capsules hiding real wealth in plain sight. That penny in your drawer could be a dream home. That shoebox in your attic could be your freedom. You're not just collecting coins. You're uncovering hidden assets. But here's the deal. These finds don't happen by chance. They happen when you know what to look for and where to go next. Check your 1962 D pennies. Look for that mint mark, signs of doubling, sharp detail, and minimal wear. Get them appraised by a certified coin dealer. Look for ones affiliated with PCGS or NGC. Don't sell too fast. Learn the market. The difference between a $100 coin and a $962,000 coin is knowledge. And finally, subscribe to this channel, because every week we break down coins like this, hidden treasures hiding in plain sight, and we teach you how to turn old coins into new wealth. Remember, the next rare penny could be in your hands right now, but you'll never know unless you look. Thanks for watching, and until next time, may your pockets be full of copper and your vaults full of gold. They say a penny saved is a penny earned. But what if that one little penny you tossed into a drawer decades ago could actually be worth close to $1 million today? Sounds unbelievable, it's not. And tonight, we're talking about one of the most overlooked treasures hiding in plain sight, the 1960 D. Lincoln Memorial Penny. Before you roll your eyes and think this is just another old coin story, let me ask you something. How many times have you passed over spare change, thinking it was worthless? How many drawers, jars, and boxes in your home are filled with pennies you haven't looked at in years? Now, imagine one of them is worth $960,000. This is not a gimmick. This is your wake-up call. Stay with me. Back in 1960, America was on the edge of a new era. Eisenhower's presidency was ending. Kennedy's campaign was rising. And in the U.S. Mint, an unassuming penny rolled off the production line in Denver. Nothing flashy. Just a copper-colored 1-cent coin, stamped with the letter D beneath the date. Millions were made, but a few of them, just a handful, had a difference so subtle, even coin experts missed it for decades. That difference? A rare small-date variety with a Denver Mint mark. This is where the story begins to shift. In the early 2000s, a coin collector at a local estate sale noticed something odd. He picked up a 1960 D penny and saw the date looked slightly off. The numbers were smaller, tighter. At first, he thought it was just wear and tear. But his gut told him otherwise. He had it appraised. And the result, he was sitting on a coin worth over $100,000, and that was 2 decades ago. Fast forward to today. The highest graded specimens have broken the $960,000 mark at private auctions. Yes, you heard that right. 1 cent, $960,000. This is where the fear kicks in. How many people had this exact coin and spent it without ever knowing? Think about it, your parents, your grandparents, maybe even you. How many fortunes have slipped through fingers, unnoticed? Now I know what you're thinking. You're halfway to the kitchen drawer right now, ready to dump every coin jar you've got. And honestly, you should. But don't just look. Learn what to look for. So here's what makes the 1960 D small date penny so special. First, check the date. The small date version has a much tighter, more compact font. Especially the 6 on the rare version, it sits almost level with the rest of the numbers. On the common large date, the 6 curves downward more noticeably. Second, the mint mark. That little D under the date. That's for Denver. Coins with this combination, the small date and the Denver Mint, are incredibly rare. And if the coin is still in uncirculated condition, meaning it hasn't been tossed around in pockets for 60 years, its value multiplies astronomically. Add in a rare error, like a double die or a misstrike, and now we're talking life-changing money. But here's the real kicker. Most people who own this coin have no idea. They have no clue what's sitting in their change JA or no clue there. Walking past it every single day. Now let me ask you, what if your $1 million break has been sitting in your sock drawer for the past 40 years? This is not just about a coin. This is about potential. Because when you find a treasure like this, it doesn't just change your bank account. It changes your mindset. Suddenly, you start to look at things differently. That pile of junk in your garage could be full of opportunity. That quiet hobby of coin collecting your grandfather had, maybe he left you more than memories. You don't need to be an expert. You just need to be curious enough to look. And with the current market soaring, driven by collectors, investors, and auctions pushing prices to new heights, there has never been a better time to check. Not next year. Not next month. By the way, if you're about to Google 1960 D small date penny while watching this, don't worry. We've got you covered. In the description, we've included a checklist, images, and resources so you can start identifying your coins right after this video. But first, you need to hear this. Coins like this are still being found in everyday collections. Basements, attics, shoe boxes under the bed. We get emails every week. People who watched one video, checked one coin, and walked into a new life. Are you going to be one of them? Will you take 5 minutes after this video, dig through your coins, and possibly uncover a once-in-a-lifetime treasure? Or will you let the opportunity pass? Again, the truth is, most people will watch this, nod their heads, and do nothing. But not you. You're still here. You're one of the few who actually want more. So here's your next step. Subscribe to this channel right now if you want real strategies, real stories, and real opportunities to turn forgotten coins into serious money. We break down the exact coins to look for, the values they're fetching right now, and how you can sell them smart without getting ripped off. Because in this world, knowledge isn't just power. Sometimes it's a paycheck with 6 zeros. And sometimes it all starts with a single penny. They thought it was just a penny. A tiny copper coin tossed in an old drawer. Forgotten. Dusty. Worth 1 cent. Wrong. One rare 1952 Lincoln penny with an S mint mark recently shocked the coin world with a value soaring near $952,000. Yes. $952,000. So if you're sitting on a jar of old coins, or a collection passed down from a grandparent, this might be your moment. A chance to turn forgotten change into serious wealth. But here's the catch. Most people don't even realize what they have. In this video, we're diving deep into the story of the 1952 South Lincoln Center. We'll reveal what makes it worth a fortune, how to spot the valuable versions, and exactly what you need to do if you think you have one. So before you rush to spend that penny on coffee. Watch this until the end. It might just change your life. Quick question before we start. When's the last time you checked your coin jar? Thought so. Let's begin. Let's go back to 1952. Harry Truman was president. Gas was 20 cents a gallon. And the San Francisco Mint was quietly producing what would become one of the most sought-after pennies in American history, the 1952 Lincoln cent with the S mint mark. Now, here's what you need to know. Over 137 million of these pennies were minted. But only a handful, just a fraction, contain the specific die errors, pristine condition, or unique copper compositions that make them worth more than a house today. Let's break this down. First, the mint mark. The S below the date stands for San Francisco Mint. If yours has it, you're off to a good start. Second, condition is everything. Collectors pay top dollar for coins in MS 66 or higher. MS stands for mint state. These coins look untouched. No scratches, no fingerprints, no wear. Think of it like a brand new car versus one that's been through 50 winters and 3 road trips with toddlers. Now here's a juicy detail. A single 1952 S Lincoln cent graded MS 67 plus sold for over $948,000 at auction. That's not a typo. That's the power of rarity, demand, and time. Still holding that penny? Starting to feel different now. But wait, there's more. Some 1952 S pennies show die cracks, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes. These so-called mint errors can skyrocket value even further. We're talking tens of thousands in additional worth, sometimes for flaws no wider than a human hair. Let me tell you a true story. A retired bus driver in Arizona had a habit. Every week, he'd save a few coins from his change, mostly out of boredom. One afternoon, while watching TV, he noticed something odd about a copper penny from 1952.
Sharp detail.
A clean S mint mark. No visible wear. He sent it off for grading. It came back as MS67 red. Nearly flawless. 2 months later, it sold for over $900,000. That one coin paid off his house, helped his grandkids through college, and gave him the retirement he'd only dreamed of. Now, imagine if he'd used it at the grocery store instead. Here's the takeaway. Every rare penny has 3 keys: the mint mark, condition, and error details. Miss one and you could lose thousands. Spot all 3, and you might be sitting on a small fortune. Let's reset for a moment. Have you ever tossed a coin aside thinking, it's just a penny? Next time, pause. Look closer. Because you never know which coin is quietly holding your future. You've come this far. Now here's what to do next. Check your coins. Pull out old jars, boxes, or those coffee tins your grandfather kept in the garage. Look for the S mint mark under the year 1952. Check condition. If your coin still shines, no scratches, and has that deep copper tone, you may have something special. And step 4. Get it professionally graded. Don't try to guess. An expert I could mean the difference between $10 and 950 grand. Time is money, literally. These coins gain value over the years, but the market changes fast. Demand goes up. Collectors compete. The next big sale could be yours or someone else's. Which brings me to this. How many times have you said, I wish I'd done that sooner? Don't let this be another one. Your journey toward wealth doesn't always start with big investments or risky ventures. Sometimes it starts with a penny. And if you're serious about finding out what your coins are worth and how to turn them into actual wealth, you're in the right place. We cover the secrets collectors don't talk about. The sales that fly under the radar. The stories that turn pocket change into a legacy. So hit that subscribe button. Don't miss your chance. Because next week, we're uncovering a penny that's even rarer than the 1952 S. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. What if I told you that one of those pennies, specifically a 1944 Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin without a mint mark, could be worth $944,000 today? Yes, you heard that right. 1 cent worth nearly $1 million. Now here's the kicker. This rare beauty could be sitting in your kitchen drawer right now. Before you toss another coin in the change jar, stick around. Because in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to reveal how an ordinary 1944 penny turned into a life-changing fortune. And how you might be next. Let's dive into a story that could turn pocket change into generational wealth. In 1944, the world was at war. Factories were booming. Steel was scarce. Copper was critical. The U.S. Mint had just transitioned from steel pennies in 1943 back to copper in 1944. But here's where things get strange. Mistakes happened. Some steel planchets from the previous year were accidentally struck with the 1944 design. Others, most of them copper, were struck under slightly different metal compositions, leading to rare varieties with unique toning, weights, and errors. But what does this have to do with you? Everything, because these mistruck or unusual 1944 pennies, especially the ones without a mint mark, meaning they were minted in Philadelphia, are now among the most sought-after coins in U.S. history, and some collectors are willing to pay anything to own them. Let me pause for a second and ask, when was the last time you really looked at your spare change? Might be worth grabbing a magnifying glass. Now here's where the story gets intense. 1944 no mint mark penny was recently authenticated and sold for a staggering $944,000. That's almost $1 million for a coin most people overlook. Why so much? Let me break it down. First, scarcity. Only a handful of these rare 1944 variations exist in pristine condition. Second, historical value. These coins carry the weight of a nation at war, making them powerful artifacts for collectors. Third, condition is king. A mint state, uncirculated 1944 penny can command insane prices, especially with full wheat lines, sharp details, and minimal wear. Now here's where most people go wrong. They think all 1944 pennies are valuable. They're not. Millions were made. But only a tiny fraction are rare enough to fetch 6 figures or more. So how do you know if you've hit the jackpot? The coin has no mint mark. Philadelphia issue. It weighs around 2.7 grams. Not the standard 3.11 grams. A clue: it's a leftover steel planchet. It has a silvery tone instead of copper ore. It has a strong copper color but is nearly flawless in condition. And here's the twist. Some of the most valuable examples were found by complete accident. A man cleaning out his late grandfather's toolbox. A woman checking under couch cushions. Even a young boy going through a coin jar for a school project. Let's stop and think. What's hiding in your house right now? Exciting? Yes. A little scary? Absolutely. Because every day you don't check, someone else is cashing in at us. So what's the next move? Start checking your pennies, especially 1944s. Separate them by year and look for mint marks or the lack thereof. Use a jewelry scale to weigh them. Steel versus copper has a clear weight difference. Look closely at the surface. Check for errors, oddities, or signs of unusual wear or perfection. Once you suspect you have something, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. It's the only way to unlock full market value. Now, why does this matter? Because you're not just chasing a coin. You're chasing freedom. The freedom to finally pay off debt. The freedom to take that dream vacation. The freedom to change your family's future. All starting with a coin that's worth more than some homes. Think about it. How many of us scroll past opportunities every day, only to realize years later, we missed something big? Don't let this be one of those times. If this opened your eyes, it's time to go deeper. Hit that subscribe button for more strategies to uncover hidden coin treasures and turn forgotten change into wealth. Check your pockets, search your drawers, and remember, sometimes the smallest things hold the biggest value. Your $1 million penny might be waiting,